So let me start off by saying welcome to beautiful Annapolis, Maryland, and thank you so much for taking the time to join us these next 2 days for our conference. I'm sure you had a chance to look at the agenda, and you can see that it's just packed with information. We're going to have breakout sessions with our members of our team. We're going to have panel discussions featuring some of our fellow franchisees. We have vendor networking. We had a great turnout by our vendors this year. We're really pleased. And I'm really excited. Wednesday night at our closing dinner, we have a keynote speaker, Dr. Colonel Arthur Athens, that dynamic speaker, and we're really looking forward to having him join us. So my goal is, and I think we'll reach that, is by the end of this next 2 days that you'll leave here and you'll be very happy you made the decision to join us. So thinking back, when it was just kind of an idea ruminating around that it was going to start a donut business, a friend of mine gave me some inspirational advice, and he said, Russ, don't ever stop making donuts, even if you get fed up with the whole business. So obviously you're not all awake yet to realize that that's a really bad pun. So really bad. But I think the underlying theme there is what we're going to concentrate on, and that is we can never stop pushing our brand, and we can never, ever stop doing what differentiates us from others. And that's really what the theme is for the next 30 minutes that I'd like to share with you. But before I get started, let me thank all of you. You guys are wonderful, and we respect you so much. We thank you for your trust in us. Thank you for the belief in our brand, and we know the significant financial investment you've made in this donut idea. And it's really because of all of you that we have grown so much. Today we are in 22 states, and I'm proud to announce that we are now officially a national brand. You can see we recently added Kansas, Missouri, Illinois, Texas, and most recently California in Orange County, and we expect very soon for San Diego to come through. So it's exciting stuff, and we are growing because of all of you and how you represent us. We currently have about 84 store locations sold, and 51 of those are open, and by the end of this year we expect to have about in the low 60s, 62, 63. There's always construction delays that kind of foul things up, but that's where we think we're going to end up. And with this increased footprint, I think we gain greater credibility. I really think we are a formidable donut chain. We really are. And I'm so excited about it, and I hope you feel that excitement too. And by the end of this conference, I think you will. And I kind of feel that because when we do promotions for National Donut Day or National Coffee Day, in national publications, we're being lumped in with the big boys, Dunkin' Donuts, Krispy Kreme. And more recently, a couple Sundays ago, through the help of the Ericksons, we were on national TV on Good Morning America. We had a featured spot showing our box and our donuts, and it was very cool. The Washington Post, a nationally syndicated newspaper, did a survey of who has the best donuts in Washington, D.C. And there were 24, believe it or not, 24 in Washington that were considered. We were number one. Departures magazine, it's an airline magazine, American, I believe, and they just put out the 13 best donut companies in the United States, and we were among them. And most recently, Bake Magazine did a study, and we were in the top 25 donut companies in the United States. And they liked us so much that they're doing a feature article on us in an upcoming publication. So some really good things happening, folks, and I thank you all for all your hard work in making this happen. So let me begin this way and kind of set the tone a bit. And let's think about, I have two questions I want you to ask or think about, because I really kind of I believe it'll ultimately determine our future success. And the theme will continue throughout this conference. One is, how well are we promoting our brand? And the other is, how well are we executing our brand? So the purpose of this conference really is, it would be nice to just be fun and games, enjoy this nice little town, but this is meaningful stuff, and I have to commend our staff. Everything that was done in-house, and they worked tirelessly on to put all this together for you, for your benefit, in hopes of supporting you and helping you in your store growth. And I thank them all. I mean, I'm so proud of everything they've done. But our time here really is to educate, to stimulate, and to communicate. Obviously, we have a lot of information that we want to impart on all of you, and we want to stimulate ideas, best practices, and talk to us, and certainly talk amongst yourselves, your fellow franchisees. That's what we're here for, and we want to make the best use of our time while we are here. Because, folks, we are in this together. I believe we are truly partners in this whole concept, this whole idea. But let me make one thing very clear, and I've heard it a couple of times, and it's a misunderstanding. Our primary focus as a franchise company is not to just go out and sell franchises and expand our brand. That is not where we're focused. It's happening organically because of all of you, and it's a nice thing to happen, and we want it to happen, but that is not our primary focus. Obviously, as we expand, it strengthens our brand, but our focus each and every day when our staff comes to work is to come up with new ways to make us more efficient, new ideas to help all of you succeed. That's our primary focus, and I want you to understand that. I want you to believe that, because it's the truth. And there are so many success stories in this company right now. We have so many franchisees that are really exceeding our initial idea of what a store could do, far exceeding that, and they're also doing very well from a return on investment standpoint. Lots of good things happening. That does not mean that we don't have challenges. We do have stores that have challenges, but I think we are going to focus in on those, not only in these next 2 days, but I think you're going to see we're evolving as a company, and you're going to see us be far more aggressive and involved with what's happening out in your stores, so we can help make you happier owners and a good return on your investment. So Gary is going to talk in one of his breakout sessions. We're gathering, as we have more and more stores open, we're gathering a lot of information from new stores and openings and trends and statistics. So it'll be very interesting for you to hear that. But one that came to light last week I found very interesting and kind of blew my mind was we looked at what is the worst performing month historically in this company. And the first one that came to my mind was January. You have 3 major holidays in 2 months. Right after January, people have New Year's resolutions and trying to lose weight and all that, so they don't have any time for donuts. Actually, the worst performing month historically is September. And I see a lot of heads nodding because we just went through September, and I think people were a little shaken up by that. We need to do a better job in preparing you for that type of situation. And I think we'll have our arms around it much better in the future. Certainly next year, we'll find ways to combat that type of trend. But even if we don't, at least you'll know that, I guess, kids going back to school, families a little bit making a change in disarray or whatever, their focus is not going out buying donuts. And it's just we found it very interesting that was the case. January 2nd, close second, but actually it's September. So probably the biggest mistake I think a franchisee can make, or in their mindset, is this. I can't tell you how many people in our office have no idea what this movie is. It's Field of Dreams, folks. Great movie. And obviously it's funny. If you build it, they will come. But please, we cannot think that way. If we were a high-valued commodity or a necessity, maybe you can behave that way, but we are not. We're certainly not. We all know that. And after all the dust settles from an opening and all the excitement dies down, if we're not out there pushing our brand constantly, we're going to be faced with reduced sales. And we see that from time to time. So we cannot go into new franchisees coming here, even existing franchisees, always got to have the mindset that we have to be constantly pushing our brand. And we can never rest on our laurels. Because, as far as I know, Maslow's theory on hierarchy of needs was never adjusted to include a bar for donuts. It's just, it's not a necessity, okay? And I know it's kind of, I kid, but it is a treat, and it's a nice to have, and we just must be very aggressive because we at our home office, we can do everything. I think you all got the winter promotions that went out, 60 pages, some beautiful work, incredible work, and I would match it against any companies. Really quality for all of you to help you push sales in the next season. We can do those sorts of things. We can negotiate better rates for media and advertising. We can come up with all kinds of strategies for promotions and marketing techniques and strategies. All that we can help you with, but at the end of the day, it all happens locally, doesn't it? You have to have those community connections, either through Quack Gives Back or in addition to Quack Gives Back, donations to local baseball teams or whatever you're doing out there to keep that community connection. That has to happen, and it all happens on your level. So please, we are here to support you. Use us. We have dynamic people with great ideas, and we'll support you in any way possible with those types of ideas and approaches. Because if you think about it, really, we're after the disposable dollar, and there's a lot of people vying for that. And if we're not out there every single day asking for that disposable income dollar, we're not going to get it, right? So, I'd like to share with you a little history lesson, and this is not the history of Duck Donuts, so don't worry. I know you've heard it umpteen times. Now, this is more of a personal history lesson. Way back when donuts weren't even on the mind or even a twinkle in my eye, and that's pretty scary. That's, you're way ahead of me. Started as my freshman year, and I was going to say that the picture got much brighter by my senior year, but it really didn't. But I really wanted to share this story for two reasons. One, I think it's incredibly interesting when you look back in your life and you find all the things that occurred and how they get intertwined with your future, because I truly believe that things happen for a reason. And secondly, I believe you can't really know where you're going in life unless you remember and understand what has happened in your past. And I'm reminded of a quote by the philosopher Santayana. You probably heard this in some way, shape, or form. Those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. And I think that applies not only to the little story I'm going to tell you, but I really think it applies to our company as we evolve. So I think many of you in our interviews, I think it comes out that my history, my professional history was in long-term care. Assisted living, nursing homes, took care of senior citizens for probably close to 30 years. So way back when, in 1982, I was a couple of years out of college. I was 26, so you want to do the math, go ahead. I had, after several entry jobs, I couldn't find a job in my field of psychology, so I worked in a nursing home as a nursing assistant and worked there a little bit of time. The administrator took a liking to me and gave me an opportunity to go into an administrator and training program. And I did, and eventually I became a licensed nursing home administrator, and that was a big deal. And, you know, I got the itch after a while being an assistant. I said, I'd really like to see what I can do on my own, run my own building. So I looked, and I found a company based out of Philadelphia, and they had a facility, over 200 bed skilled nursing facility in Southwest Philadelphia, poor section of town, very rough. And I admit it, I took the job, but I was way over my head for something like that. But sometimes you really don't know what you don't know until you're faced with the facts. And I find it funny in life now, I look back, and that was probably the best job I could have ever had to prepare me for my future. You know, I was just kind of a wet behind the ears, middle class boy, really. This job, I was faced with so many gripping and challenging situations, not only by the people we cared for, but also the families and, my God, the staff and the challenges they had in their lives. So it really kind of brought me face to face with my core being and prepared me for the real world, and as I went into, transitioned into adulthood. So I was kind of getting by day and learning a little bit as I went along and using what little knowledge that I had. And so one evening I got a call at home that we had an evening admission, and but there was a problem. And I better get down there quick. Get in my car, drive 30 minutes, go down to the facility, go up to the second floor where the admission was, and I see my director of nursing there, and that was normal for her to be there. And I saw my maintenance man there, which I couldn't understand. That was weird, and there was a bunch of people milling around. So I go up, introduce myself, and they immediately escort me over to the room, go in through the threshold, and lo and behold, there, we're behind the resident, the patient, on the wall are cockroaches everywhere. I have to say, I never saw anything like that in my life. I still get goosebumps thinking about the experience, but I was mortified. I never saw anything like that, and my staff, for some reason, didn't seem to be too upset by it. I guess being in a city facility, they were used to seeing cockroaches. Me and my background, I was not. So it became very clear to me that just having a title doesn't mean too much. It really means something. And it was kind of an oh shit moment. What did I get myself into, really? But what I did was I fixed the problem, and it made me think over the ensuing days, this isn't going to be the first challenge I have in my life. And what can I do to maybe deal with it, but more importantly, what can I do to head it off at the pass so that it never happens in the first place? So maybe you're all thinking right now, what the heck does this have to do with Duck Donuts? I'm going to tell you, and I want to use a quote by Helen Keller. I think it's very powerful. Character cannot be developed in ease and quiet. Only through experience of trial and suffering can the soul be strengthened, vision cleared, ambition inspired, and success achieved. It really applied then, and I really think it applies now with our company today. So after the shock and really the embarrassment and the experience, I had an epiphany, and at the time I really didn't know how it tied into what Helen Keller's words were, but I realized that if what you do in life really matters, and you really want to make a difference, that you better know your business inside and out. You better surround yourself with people that are on board and knowledgeable, set a very high standard, and always, always, always deliver on your promises. And I've applied those principles in pretty much, since then, every job I've ever had. I learned that if you consistently deliver on your promises, good business results are going to follow. I firmly believe that, and I apply it today in our company, and I think hopefully you see that in our purpose statement. We say what we're going to do, and we guarantee it. In my mind, there just cannot be any other way. So again, I say what you're going to do, guarantee it, and then you got to take the next step and you got to deliver on it. Everyone in this room, I need you to be on board with this philosophy. We have to consistently deliver a great experience to our customers and that is the best donuts that they're going to find anywhere around. It's really, if you think about it, it's really what sets us apart from other companies. So if you don't already subscribe to this way of thinking, I beg of you to please do so today. No shortcuts. When you go home, we need you to implement this type of thinking in all of your stores. So how do you get there? In this organization, and actually in any business I've been in, it's always been, I focus on the people who impact our customers. In this particular case, you're our customers. Our staff get my attention each and every day in their efforts to satisfy you and support you in everything that you do. I believe if your team is well-trained, knows what's expected of them, competitively paid, treated fairly, and then if they feel empowered and trusted to do their job, they're going to be happy and content team members, and ultimately the result will be high sales and good results in your stores. And I tell you this because in my healthcare world, we work very hard at building trust. It was our mission to deliver peace of mind to the families that entrusted their loved ones with us. It's not an easy thing. If any of you have had experience with dropping a loved one over to someone to take care of them and you drive away, there's tremendous guilt. And what eases that guilt is knowing that someone is there that promises to deliver this peace of mind that you don't have to worry when you leave. And that's kind of the same thought process that we want to apply here. And we were able to accomplish that primarily because our staff bought into it and they took pride in what they were doing. So, today I talked to you, we're not delivering anything so serious as care to our elderly, but we are nonetheless working very hard to honor our promise, and that is to deliver happiness through our process and our show and the outcome of delicious made-to-order donuts. It's what we do, and really it's what sets us apart from the others. Now, I know I'm repeating myself, but please know that what we do I take very, very seriously, what we represent and what we're trying to deliver very personally. So I have to ask you, does your organization stand behind our purpose statement, or is it just a board or a piece of artwork hanging on a wall? Has it been ingrained into your operations? They're not just some gimmicky words or some marketing blather. I wrote it, I signed it, and I mean it. And all of you need to stand behind that. And it may be a little bit ballsy to guarantee a great experience to every customer every single time, but folks, that's what sets us apart. That's what we have to do every single day. And I know what we're trying to do is not easy. We're doing made-to-order donuts, so what can go wrong, right? Compared to other any other fast food chain that food comes in kind of frozen, we're doing everything from scratch. But again, it's what we do, and we have to do it right every single day. From the time that a customer comes in the door, we have to have the right person on the register, welcoming them, taking their order, making them feel at ease during the order process. The water temperature has to be right for the batter. It has to sit long enough. The shortening level must be high enough and hot enough, and the timing on the conveyor has to be the right time. Donuts come out and sit long enough, top just perfectly, and exactly the way it was ordered. We want to give the customer what they ordered, and then delivered with a smile. That's what we need to be doing. Who in your organization is making sure that that's happening? Somebody has to. I hope it's all of you. So I want to make this really clear. I mentioned earlier that our primary focus is not to expand this business through selling franchises, but I also want to tell you we are not in the business of selling franchises and hoping for the best. I mentioned our staff works so hard in coming up with ways, processes, and operations and marketing to support all of you. It's what we do, and it's what we're going to continue to do, and I beg of you to keep us in the loop through your regionals or wherever. As I said, we're partners in this, so we want to help you in every way we can. Now, I think when Gary does his breakout session, he's going to share some information with you as we've been kind of aggregating a lot of what's been going on, especially now that we have quite a few stores open and our picture becomes clearer. So we'll leave that to Gary on the breakout session. But we are now a national brand, and we need to act like a national brand.
Is a donut just a donut if it cracks a smile, oozes goodwill, and unleashes your inner child? Is a donut shop just a donut shop if it leaves worries at the door, takes friends and families to carefree waters, and gives joy a beachfront view? Are donut makers just donut makers if they also make your day, and hers, and theirs too? Duck Donuts is more than a family-owned donut business. We're a family-owned happiness oasis, providing a scrumptious, sunny escape from daily routines, a glazed, glee-sprinkled gesture of goodness, a made-to-order vacation for your taste buds. A donut might just be a donut, but when it's made fresh before your eyes, then frosted, drizzled, and topped just the way you like, it's not a donut anymore. It's an edible ring of happiness. A Duck Donut.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is our brand. You've probably seen it before, but it's worth seeing again. And I need you to embrace this philosophy and approach and integrate it into all of your operations. Our brand is what drives us each and every day in our office. And I promise you, every idea, every adjustment, every approach runs through a filter to make sure that it is supporting our brand. We don't do things willy-nilly. We just don't. Much thought is put into it. And I think you're seeing, especially those franchisees that have been here the longest, we are evolving. Things are tightening up. We want brand purity. What happens over in Outer Banks should be the same thing that's happening in Orange County, California. And trust me, I know we're a new brand, and we don't want to lose sight on the things that got us here. We want to keep those, but we also need to continue to evolve and make things better, and that's where our focus is. So at the end of the day, I say this all the time, our brand is all we've got, and we must live it and protect it at every turn. And I promise you, on our end, we are doing that. I can't tell you how many companies have tried to lift things, copycatters, whatever, from us, but we are remaining diligent. When we find them, we go after them, both personally or try to do it personally, and if not, we've gotten legal help to do it. And it's being effective. We are trademarking as much as we possibly can trademark to prevent this from happening in the future, but we're fighting the fight. We are going to protect what we have. Because what we have, I think, is so very special, and I have no intention of losing it. So if you really don't buy into the importance of brand purity and to nurture, respect, and take care of what is most important, like anything else in life, you're going to lose it. And we're not going to lose it. And if you think our brand is just the business of making donuts, I think we both made a big mistake early on in our discussions. But I don't find that to be the case at all. But we're not just making donuts. It's never been about the donut. It's so much more. We're selling an experience that elicits feelings of family, memories, fun, the beach, whatever. But these are good feelings that make customers want to come back to us. Please don't ever take it for granted. So I think by allowing our customers to be a part of the entire process sends a message. It really kind of creates that trust I talked about in healthcare, but subliminally, it really says that we have nothing to hide. We don't do anything behind closed doors. Everything is done right up front, and I think that sends a great message. Now, think about it. If we peel away all that great experience I think that we provide, then I think we can say we're just making donuts, okay? But we're not. So let me probe you a little bit before I end here. I'm going to ask some questions. You can answer them yourself in your head. Ask yourself, what exactly are we selling besides donuts and coffee? And I think I beat that one to death. You probably pretty much can answer that. Why is it that so many people early on begged us to do a Duck Donuts in their hometown and eventually encouraged us to franchise? Ask yourself, why do we have food bloggers, as silly as it may seem, making it their mission to go to every single store and then write about it? Ask yourself why customers wait in line up to an hour to have our donuts. And we hope that's only on grand openings and not normal days. I think most of you can answer those questions just by thinking back and honestly asking yourself the second most important question here: what made you contact us in the first place? What was the appeal? And when you answer that, then ask yourself and answer this second, the most important question: is the experience you're providing your customers the same? And if not, why would it be any different? You know, many of the elements and descriptive adjectives in our purpose statement evolved as a result of our customers' experience. It was always our idea to have a fun experience, beachy, family-friendly, colorful, a lot going on. But we never imagined that it would evolve into something where there's kind of a charm to it, a mystique that created fans that almost in a cult-like way. I think, when I think about it, I really think that people just sensed the sincerity of our mission and grabbed onto it. We never want to lose that. It took 3 years for our popularity to grow to the point, Robin and I, where we broke even. And it took several years after that for people to convince us to franchise, but we finally did. But I wanted, especially for our new franchisees, I want you to keep that in mind. Where there is no name recognition, it takes time. It takes hard work, perseverance, but it will catch on. But it won't last unless you push it from beginning, middle, and to the end and never stop promoting our brand. We are and must always remain a donut company with a difference. We have to be an exceptional experience. I often think back to the day of the roaches, if you will, that woke me up to the importance of establishing a high set of principles, standards, and practices, guaranteeing them, and then delivering on them. So there you have it. Tremendous success, I believe, is well within reach, but can only be achieved if we're all on the same page. Folks, donuts have been around forever. They're going to be around forever. Why wouldn't someone pick a duck donut that's made to order and fresh compared to a frozen donut in Dunkin' Donuts or semi-frozen in a Krispy Kreme? We are on the precipice of something big. I firmly believe that. But we're only going to be successful if we stay focused on what we do, sell it, guarantee it, and deliver on it. And I think we'll be perfectly fine if you folks do that. And if you do, we'll have great success, and that I guarantee. Thank you. Thank you. So, just real quick before we have Gary come up here, I want to take a few minutes to highlight the importance of the initiative we undertook in the month of September, our very first successfully completed Gabe's Chemo Duck program. As you all know, we've partnered with them, and it was just tremendous. And I have to thank you from the bottom of my heart. The support and the encouragement, the generosity that you all were able to stimulate with your customers was overwhelming. Our company donated $10,000 to the cause, but in total, with all of you, we raised $75,048. That is amazing. Thank you so much. I'd like to highlight some of the stores who went above and beyond by reaching and exceeding their goals. You see them up there. Great job. And now, for the moment you've all been waiting for, I hope you have been, I'd like to say that it was a tight race for many, but here are the 2017 Gabe's Chemo Duck Program incentive winners. Congratulations to King of Prussia, Duck, Southern Pines, Wilmington. Why don't our franchisees stand up, please, and be acknowledged. We've got Jeff, Todd and Gail, Eric, and Keith, thank you so much. And just as a quick shout out for King of Prussia, they were on a mission, and they included everybody in their organization to push this, and I think your number was over $4,700, just absolutely amazing, so great job. So we look forward now that this is over for next September and to continuing to grow our relationship with Gabe's Chemoduct program. I just think it's so healthy for us. Again, it's part of what we do. We give back to our communities. And how neat is it that we can be a national sponsor for such an organization, but it goes back right to your own community hospitals, serving the sick children in your own community. So it really kind of goes very well with what we're trying to do as we stay connected in our communities. So I want to just end this by saying we have a short message by Lou Sipos, the founder of Gabe's Chemoduct.
Hi Duck Donut friends, Lou here, and I have Chemoduct standing in for Gabe, who's on a camping trip with a friend overnight. We wish we could be there at your conference, but we wanted to make sure we reached out personally to each and every one of you to thank you for the incredible hard work you put in to the campaign for Chemoduct this year. Because of your work, we're able to provide Huggable Hope for over 2,000 children this year. And that is something to really congratulate yourselves for. We're so grateful. Gabe and I send out our heartfelt thanks to each and every one of you. And we just look forward to growing together and for Chemoduct and Duck Donuts to become synonymous and go on to do great things together. Thank you all, and we hope to see everybody at next year's conference. Thank you so much. Bye.
Great lady, great lady. Okay, so that concludes my portion. I want to introduce Gary McEnany, our COO. He's going to talk about what we've accomplished over the past year and key initiatives for this upcoming year.
You know, I was getting ready for this presentation today. I do want to spend the bulk of it on what we've accomplished this past year and some of the initiatives we're working on. But I also just wanted to talk a little bit about how companies grow and what we're feeling a little bit at our office and maybe what you're feeling at your store. And then talk a little bit at the very end about the relationship and how our relationship develops between the franchisee and the franchisor. And I did some reading prior to this meeting, and the feelings I think that a lot of you are feeling in this room, depending on the various stages that you are in our relationship, are normal. And I think if we could talk through those, it would be helpful for all of us. But you know, companies go through a lot of various stages. Obviously, you need an idea, right? We have an idea with Russ and Robin, and that's what we call the entrepreneur stage, right? Got this great idea. Let's see what we can make of it. Let's make a run out of it. And as you do that, and as you start to grow, and this could be your own little operation or our operation, right? You might enter this world here called chaos. And I see some giggles. Hopefully over time, the chaos, you put some systems in place and become a functional, operating business unit, company. You start to emerge, you start to grow, you start to get more confidence. And then over time, you become mature. You know, sometimes you get your own kids like this, if whoever has children, right? In this chaos stage, rebellious teenagers, don't want to listen to you, do their own thing. And hopefully at one day they're going to mature. But you know, this is a normal growth pattern for companies. And I look at this chart and I think, well, where's our Duck Donuts franchising company? Because that's really, you know, what I can control and help develop. Some days I think we're here. I got to tell you, some Mondays I walk in and I feel like it's chaos. Got to be honest. And then other days I do really feel like Russ said, we're on the verge of making this, you know, we're national in terms of numbers. We are on the process of getting to national in terms of process, procedures, and how we run the business. So, you know, we have challenges at the franchise company like you do at the operating unit. Staffing, cash flow, priorities, vendor relationships, you know, everything that you're working with, we're doing the same here. So I think it's, I think it's comforting at times that we're both kind of going through this together in terms of the way we're growing our operation, the way you're growing your business. So I just think it helps put things into perspective to get a better feel of why we're doing some things with the franchise company and how we continue to challenge ourselves, and not just to make change for the sake of making change, but really to make change if needed, to drive profitability, to increase the experience. Because they're the two things we focus on when we do come to work each day. I'm not going to do a lot of geography because Russ had some maps up there, but I do think it's interesting. The last time we had a franchise owners meeting, which was April of 2016, that's what we looked like. We were in 4 states. We had 21 units operating. You know, when I look at this here, this is where we are today with our 51 stores operating. And when I look at the map, you know, I look at with challenges, right? We need to then improve our distribution services, our vendor relationships. We need to make sure vendors can go from there to here and that they're going to be able to grow with us. You know, Russ mentioned 184 operating units. And that's not going to happen tomorrow or next year. I mean, that's over time. If we keep on track and do the right things and keep delivering on our promise, we're going to open up, I think Russ said, another 10 stores this year. We have 2 open up next week, by the way. 2 stores, one in High Point, North Carolina, which Rebecca and Dave Johnson will be their 3rd store. And another one in a new market for us in Dayton, Ohio. So our Columbus folks will have a friend out in Ohio. So that's actually some of our training folks, I think, are leaving from this meeting and getting on airplanes on Sunday and heading out of town. So we got a busy 4th quarter in terms of opening some stores. And next year, you know, numbers always seem to slide a little bit, but we'll probably open 30 to 40 more stores next year. So it'll probably surpass this year. We'll probably open close to 40 stores over this past year. So we're probably on track to do that again next year. I like the numbers. I come from a numbers background, so I thought I'd share with you some facts about the company just to kind of ingrain that, yeah, this is something bigger than just my little store. We did over $30 million in sales as a brand last year. That's a big number. We had 3.4 million customers that we needed to impress when they walked in our store. 3.4 million. 20 million donuts. Holy cow. I mean, that's a lot. And we get asked this question a lot, well, how many people own Duck Donuts? How many owners are there? You know, you got 184 stores, you got this, you got that, do they own 3? So we have 48 owners in the room here. Of those 48 owners, 28 today have stores that are open and operating. And if you're really into the minutia of I see everybody writing down, so there must be something. Of the 28 owners, 18 have a single store, and 10 are operating multiple units. So we have 10 people in here, and we're going to use our breakout sessions tomorrow on our panels to really help multi-unit owners versus single store owners and some of the challenges that they face when we're opening stores. We have 20 owners that might be here with multiple people, but 20 owners that have yet to open a store yet. So, you know, and they're in that construction process with Justin, just getting done a lease with Matt, just really getting started to the whole process, and, you know, maybe as close as Dayton and open up in a couple weeks. So things are progressing from that perspective. So what have we been working on this past year to help solidify the foundation? You know, with this whole theme of this meeting, setting sail to new heights, I tried to come up with this whole boat concept and figured if we don't shore up the bottom of the boat and if we got leakage, we're not going anywhere. So we needed to spend some time working on the foundation. And then if we get that right, then we'll be able to set sails to these new heights that we all want to do. But, you know, we're going to take some time to continue. And I think the foundation, like any house, is never completed. I mean, you may think it's done, but we're always going to keep making sure that foundation is solid to support the owners in the room here. But I was thinking, so what does it mean for someone to be successful? I mean, the Foleys may have a different definition of success than the Ericksons, than the Reinfists, than Mark, than Ben. You know, each of you come in here with a different definition of success. But I think when it comes down to it, you each have a desired outcome. I don't know what that is. You guys each know what that is individually. And when you achieve that outcome through your intervention with our company and how we deliver a service to you, then I think that can be success. So you need to think about what's your desired income. Some of it might just be financial. Some might be, there might be an intangible piece of it. Maybe a combination of the two. Maybe you really wanted to, you got into this because you wanted to run your own business, and that unique ability to do that was exciting for you. And then how you act with us and that intervention, will either determine whether you really feel like you've achieved that goal or not. So hopefully our staff's on the right track to help you achieve that customer success. So what are we doing? There's our ship right now and all of our employees. We didn't want to blow that up too big. I don't think you really want to see the faces in there. But we've strengthened our staff, and when we met again in April of 16, we had 11 full-time employees on our staff. Today we have 21. And we got some fresh new faces and brought some new ideas. So just real quick, I want our little staff, so I'm going to do this in like groupings. So people that are in operations and training, if you could just stand up real quick. So we have 8 on that staff today. You'll see the faces. I'm not going to introduce them individually, but I am going to point out one guy. So Matt in the back. Yesterday was Matt's first day with our company. Hold on. In the franchise world. Matt was one of our first employees at Mechanicsburg as our donut maker. So he took a liking to the company, and he has been with us now since June of 16, Matt? Yeah. June of 16, and it's cool to see someone who we can take. Matt's got a baking background, and is now part of the franchise team, has been out to some of your stores, has done training there already. So again, we're trying to expand our staff with quality people to better provide a service for you. So our marketing team, where's our marketing group? Stand up, don't be shy. So if we did this a year and a half ago, we'd have one person standing, just to let you know. One person spinning all the plates. So we have a group now of 5 that are handling everything from our social media engagement. We do creative production in-house, ad campaigns, the seasonal promotions, PR. We outsourced a lot of those functions just a year or so ago. So we've brought that skill set in-house. And then what I'll call our back house administrative staff, Jeff, Stan, Karen, Justin. Stand up, Jeff. Where else? Kristen, where's Just? Did I get everybody? Amy, where's Amy? Standing, yep. So we got construction, finance, IT, support. So we got a group here. If you don't know these folks, spend some time with them. They're here, again, to make sure you're successful. But, I'll get into it more, but we're not stopping at 21 because we're not stopping at 51 stores being open, right? So we're going to need to continue to develop this staff. And I think we've done a nice job to go out and bring some skill set in-house that we didn't have. We brought some people from the food industry, from Hershey Entertainment, onto our staff. We brought some franchising experience with Kendall from Annie Ann's, who's understands the challenges that franchisees deal with their marketing plans. Kristen came from Rite Aid, big company that has PR experience. So we really, in our little Mechanicsburg town, have found some good quality people to help this company grow. A couple other things that we've done over this past year, and we don't have to spend a lot of time on this, but we've enhanced our brand on various levels. It's not up here, but our packaging was a big deal for us with our cups and our boxes. We wanted to make that a little more quality to the actual product itself, but also represent our brand a little better. We introduced 2 new products this year with our sandwich and our sundae. It was important for us to launch this national program properly for the non-for-profit for Chemo Duck. And fortunately, Kristen and her background with Rite Aid had experience there, so I think it came out of the gates as smooth as I could hope for from a logistics, an operation, a coordination. I was concerned that we really were going to deliver on that sort of national program. If you remember, whoever was with us a year ago, we did the breast cancer event for October, which was a great event, and we supplied the T-shirts. But I think and then we did the donation to the local breast cancer awareness locations within your towns. But I really think this one had a better touch point with our customers and our staffs and really engaged them throughout the whole month. The website, we've made that more interactive over the past year. The location search is better. I think the look of the website is now more reflective of our brand itself. We work with a third-party company in Lancaster, Synapse, who's done that for us, and they've been a good business partner. So again, we continue to reinvest in the brand. These pictures aren't that big up there, but we had to spend some time this past year on regulatory updates, the whole calorie content on the menu. Did we want to be spending time putting our calories out there for every customer to look at? Not really, but at the end of the day, I don't think anybody's even looking at it anyway. But it's up there, and it's something we need to be doing. So we did it. We spent time with the conversion of our oils, right? You think back. That stuff just doesn't happen overnight, and you pick an oil and you roll it out. And so there was energy put into that. And then when we did that, we felt like we needed to tweak our mix a little bit, right? Because the oil put on a little bit different flavor, the mix. So when we stop and pause right now, we're like, wow, a lot of stuff was going on this past year just to keep things moving in the right direction and keep the boat, the foundation. And then technology. I'm going to expand on the point of sale in a second, just because I think probably everyone's really interested in where we stand on that project. I think it's important that we all kind of leave here knowing the direction there. But we've also had other enhancements. Cision is a product that we use to aggregate PR information, and Kristen's using that on a daily basis to monitor the brand, whether it's on newspaper, on TV, radio, however it's coming about, aggregating that. Sprout Social, Nadine, who's running with our social media work, it's a social media aggregator that keeps track for Facebook, Instagram, whatever the other, I don't know what you guys are using nowadays, but always seems to be changing the new. But again, these tools are being put in place to hopefully be a better data-driven company, to get information that we can then share with you as the franchise owner, so we're spending money properly when we are doing advertising. And then the point of sale. So the point of sale project, if we take a step back and say, well, why do we even embark on looking at a new point of sale program? Restaurant Manager was a system that got installed back probably, Robin, you could probably give the exact date, late 14, early 15? Right? And at that time, it met the needs for what we were looking to accomplish. Many of you can pound on that system and pound on it and pound on it, and it gets to where we need to go. But we thought it was important to really advance the ordering experience and to potentially one day introduce a loyalty program. That technology was not going to get us there. It was a local-based server. The interfaces with a lot of the new third-party loyalty or online programs would have been very clunky. So we embarked on a process. Myself, Sophia, Allie really spent a lot of time, and Caroline was involved as well, interviewing firms through the first quarter of 2017. And in May of 17, I'm just going through this history because I just want you to all kind of follow the thought and where we are. In May of 17, we thought we had chosen a company that was going to take the ride with us, VivoNet. So we engaged with VivoNet, and at that same time, we had 5 stores that were right on the cusp of opening, and we made a decision to install VivoNet in those 5 stores. We did pilots in June and July in 5 locations, and we had some problems. And I'll be honest with you, it was not an easy summer for those 5 locations to be the pilot and some of the operational headaches that brought on to us. So we made a decision. I remember sitting in Sophia's office. It was mid-August. I said, this can't go on. Stop. Like, this is nuts for us to continue to go down this path. So we made a business decision, and we had a 5-year contract with VivoNet, and we were in it for 2 months. And we said, stop. And I called their lead sales guy and their CEO, and we said, I don't care really what our contract is. We're done. And they flew into our offices that Monday morning, and we were still done. And I said, we're moving forward. And I don't know if you guys remember the talker that was here in April of 2016 for whoever was at that meeting, Joe Bartolo, I think his name was. He put a phrase out there that sticks in my mind, and I wish I would have listened to it. He said, I'd rather go slow to go fast than go fast to go slow. And we went a little fast on this, and now it slowed us up. So I can learn a lesson. I'm not that stubborn. So we re-engaged Parbrink. And Parbrink, if any of you do any research on them, they're a big player in the point-of-sale industry. Anybody know Five Guys? They're a Five Guys provider. Arby's is in the process of switching 1,700 store locations to Parbrink. Dairy Queen is in the process of switching their point-of-sale system. Lenny's, which is a sub-shop place in the Southeast, already uses them. So we re-engaged Parbrink, and we work with them diligently from mid-August till October 1st. And some long days with Allie and Sophia and Caroline, really working on the menu configuration, the touch screen, which we're going to have 2 Parbrink terminals here tomorrow in our vendor fair, so you can pound on it, look at it yourself, and see what type of system it is. And we really slowed it down and said, we're not going to launch this until we're ready. So we launched it October 2nd in our Mechanicsburg store. It's been there 3 weeks. We are happy with the progress, and we're ready to do a rollout. And so the priorities are going to be this. We have new stores. We have stores that are open like this week. Well, that's not happening, right? We're not ready to do it this week. There's lead time with equipment and those sort of things. So our new store openings probably from, I may get the date wrong, but let's just say mid-November. Close enough. From mid-November on, we're going to be doing the Parbrink installation. The other priority is for our 5 stores that are on VivoNet to get off of that system and get onto the Parbrink system by the end of this calendar year. And I can talk to the pricing which is each of those 5 stores, but we made it so financially it makes sense for them, and they'll be better off, not worse off. I can't get back the pain and the headaches that maybe some of you went through during those couple of months, but financially we can at least make it right. So that's kind of where we are with the point of sale. And then come Q1 and Q2, any new store that we bring on will obviously be installed with Parbrink. And then we're going to do an aggressive conversion for the existing stores to Q1 and Q2 of 2018. The reason we need to get aggressive on the conversion is that if we want to take advantage of some of the other technology that we want to introduce, it makes sense to all be on the same platform. So if we ever do an integration with, I don't know, say we choose Olo, which is one of the big online ordering players right now. They have a fully integrated go live with Parbrink today. If you're still on Restaurant Manager, that's going to be a problem. So it'll behoove all of us to move quickly onto that. And we've scaled some pricing for our existing stores with Parbrink. And we can go through that pricing on the breakouts. And we have exact numbers. So there's the one thing that we're still testing, and I don't need to belabor this anymore, is some of the equipment in your stores, whether the printers or the cash drawers, might be able to work with Parbrink. So when we went live with Mechanicsburg, we shipped up all our stuff, sent it out to San Diego. They are now testing that equipment. Hopefully all that stuff will be able to be utilized. So really all we're replacing is the terminals itself. So we're working through that today. So enough on the technology piece. I wanted to spend some time on it because it has taken up a lot of time and energy within our staff, and it's impacted some of you. And we can get into more detail if you want to corner me and go through any of the specifics, please feel free. We've also taken some time this past year to work through some process enhancements. You know, the QAs that our folks are doing when they come visit your stores are probably a lot more robust today than they were a year ago. We've expanded some relationships with Singer. They are our larger smallware and smallware provider. We made that decision not because we wanted to leave our old provider. We really didn't, but we felt we needed a national food equipment supplier that had the reach across the U.S., and Singer had that, and our other company did it. Did not. So some of our own growth has brought on some of the change with some of the vendors we've been using. And then Belshaw, because we've gotten, well, you can see if you walked in the lobby, the commitment that they have and the excitement they have about our brand. That piece of equipment sitting out in that lobby is like $50,000. And if you were here yesterday trying to watch the three-ring circus to get the thing unloaded and get it through the front lobby, you would have giggled. But anyway, Belshaw now, we're actually changing up our processing order with them, and we become a direct national account with them, whereas before we had a third-party distributor that was in the middle of that process. So what that means for you is better pricing directly from Belshaw because we don't have a third-party distributor anymore. So that's just a little bit about the past year and where our staff has been working. But really it's important to what are we doing so we can set sail and get to the next level? Well, people. Like I said, we recently hired Matt. Justin's getting ready to put an offer out for another construction person to help support his operation. Marketing, we're looking to grow that staff at will. So we will continue to reinvest in our brand through the people part of it. We may run out of space in our office, but we'll keep investing in it and we'll figure it out somehow. Customer experience. I think in one of our company webinars, Russ touched on, we engaged a third-party company, Eimer, out of Philadelphia. They are a quick-serve restaurant interior design company. And I'm hoping we have some of the renderings here by tomorrow for what the new store design will look like. And again, this is really to enhance the brand. We're not asking people to make wholesale changes with their existing stores. That's not the intent of this. The intent is not for people to be spending more money with significant investments they've already done. But there's some little things that we might be able to do. You know, if it's time to do a refresher and paint, you know, we're going to give you the way that we'd like to do it versus how you would have been doing it. Maybe the signage on the walls. But you'll see the renderings, and I think again, we showed them in the company webinar, but I think it helps advance us and keep our brand fresh and relevant. Product offerings, we continue to brainstorm internally. We continue to get a ton of ideas from all of you on new flavors and donut holes. And so there's no shortage of ideas. Some are a little crazy, I got to tell you, but there's no shortage of ideas. Technology. Again, we're going to be spending a lot of time with honing in on the online ordering. I think that could be a game changer for us as a company and as franchisees. We've heard a lot of feedback, you know, with lines in our stores and order ahead for the business customer and how to make that process easier. And there's some, we're not reinventing the wheel when we make a selection there. There's some proven vendors that have worked with the point of sale system we have to integrate those in a nice, clean process that I really think we'll see the benefits of that. Again, we'll pilot it in a few locations, make sure it's working. We'll put a reach out, maybe get some hands raised on who thinks they want it, you know, first, work out the bugs, and then we'll continue to push those out. Same thing with the loyalty program. Delivery service, some of us are already using Uber Eats, and we have that in our stores as well. When we go to the new point of sale system, it'll even be easier to integrate. Some are using Grubhub, and there's a whole host of other delivery services that some of the online ordering systems are pretty cool. They aggregate all these online ordering systems, and they actually put a bid out. So they'll get an order in, I don't know, say we're in Orlando, Mark. They'll get an order in, and they'll push this order out to the marketplace. And there could be 5 or 6 different delivery companies out there, and simultaneously they'll bid on that delivery. And then you may have company A showing up for one order, company B showing up for another order, and but it's all through the online ordering system, so you don't need all these various business relationships with ordering companies. So there's a lot of neat technology out there that we're, again, all trying to enhance the experience and drive revenue to your stores. Some other enhancements, we continue to leverage our vendors. You know, we meet with them annually. It's getting ready to come up this quarter in October, November, December. And you know, it's a grind with them. You know, we sit down with them and say, we need better pricing. Look at our volume. You know, we just can't, you know, 3 to 4% increases can't be the norm when our company's almost doubling in volume, right? I say, do you want to deposit more money or do you want to deposit a bigger percentage? And I'm always of the mindset, I think they should deposit more money. So let's not get caught up on a 1 or 2 or 3% price increase when you're able to deposit $200,000 last year and $400,000 next year. So our volume is giving us better leverage with all that negotiation, and whether that's at the macro level with Cisco as the major distributor or all the vendors that are underneath, we'll be working with them. I don't need to spend a lot of time on package design, but we're looking at some other smaller repackaging, whether it's plates, cups, some smaller things, because I think we took care of the big issues last year. And then lastly, an initiative for 2018 is we are going to develop a franchise advisory council for 2018. I think it's important for us to have a better mechanism in place to share ideas amongst the franchisees so it's not willy-nilly. I don't think we need 50 people on the council since we have 50 owners. I think, you know, 4, 6, somewhere around that, but we're gonna put some meat on that, and that will happen in 2018. I think it's like I said, I think it's important. It's constructive, and you know, again, a lot of other franchise companies, when they finally get to this stage, have put these councils in place. I know Eric has sat on many with Subway, and I think it can work good for both of us. So lastly, I just wanted to touch on, and I hope you don't think this is too corny, and I didn't make it up. I'm telling you, I didn't make it up. So, but there's a book out called Street Smart Franchising. Some of you may have read it when you were looking to get involved in franchising. I didn't read it till after Russ hired me, so I have to admit I was a little bit behind on it. And there's a franchise advisor, I think his first name is Nathan, and he put together this chart, okay? He put it together, I didn't. I swear I didn't. So along the vertical axis is labeled franchise satisfaction, high to low. And along the horizontal axis is labeled the level of dependence that a franchisee has with the franchisor. And it talks about the various stages that a franchisee-franchisor relationship goes through. And I was sitting back and I'm saying, you know, we have so many franchisees at various stages of our relationship. Some of you we've known a really long time. Others we just met a month or so ago. And if you really think about it, this continuum, I think makes a lot of sense. So GLE, what that's supposed to represent is when you first sign your franchise agreement. Everybody's happy with each other, right? When people leave Mechanicsburg, there's hugs, there's high fives, we can't wait, let's get going, smiles abound, right? And then that honeymoon, it's important for you new owners to know, that honeymoon can end, right? And then we get into this stage, again, this is Nathan, not me, called this fee stage, where all you feel like is money's going out of your pocket as a franchisee. I'm paying this vendor, I'm paying that employee, I'm paying the supplier. Heck, I'm even paying my royalties. Everyone's getting paid except for me. And that's this is normal according to Nathan. You go through this. And then you start to shift inward and you become this independent, let's use the teenager expression again, this rebellious teenager. And it becomes all about me. I know more than again, this is Nathan, not me. I know more than the franchise company. I can run my store any way I want. I don't need the bigger company because I've been doing this, and what are they going to tell me that I don't know, right? They're not in the trenches every day. And then you get this freedom stage where you're like, yep, I'm free to do what I want. I'm going to keep doing what I want. But then finally, hopefully, the relationship develops where you get into this C phase. Like you see that if every franchisee acted the way I potentially am, my franchisor is going to go nuts. Again, this is Nathan, not me. Right? If we have 49 different priorities coming in, or next year 80 or 184, that there's no way we will be able to satisfy every franchisee. So you start to see that, you know what, we are in this together, and there is a greater good. That when we get to the we stage, yeah, it still has its ups and downs, right? It's not a straight continuum up. It's ups and downs. But the we stage means that all of a sudden, we're talking about things like market share, and we're talking about competition, and we're talking about all growing the brand together. And my hope, and I hope this guy Nathan's right, that eventually you get to the we stage where we're interdependent on each other. Right? Our success dependent on your success and vice versa. And it's a give and take, and that we're really putting ideas in place that really help grow the greater good. So I just thought it was interesting because, you know, we've dealt with various franchisees over the last year, and I took a step back and said, yeah, I kind of feel where they're coming from now, right? I think it's important for us as an organization and our team to know that some of these emotions, because this can be emotional, right? That some of the emotions our franchisees are feeling are normal, right? Not everyone's always going to be thrilled with us, right? That's reality. But if we understand that there is this continuum and that there is this normal progression, then maybe we can keep in perspective and keep driving for the greater good of the whole company. So I wanted to share that with you. I thought, take it for what it's worth. I thought it was a good read. I want to end with this. You know, a meeting like this, Russ said a lot of hard work goes into it. But to be totally honest, we couldn't do this meeting without our sponsors. We have twisted every one of them and turned every one of them, and they basically have subsidized this whole meeting. So when they're here, let's thank them. And I think the reason they have done it is because they believe in the brand as well. They see where this company's headed. They enjoy working with all of you in the room. They enjoy working with our franchise company. I mean, tomorrow, think about this. We're going to have a vendor expo fair with 30 companies that have taken their time to spend 2 to 3 days here. None of them are retiring on the Duck Donuts brand yet, but they do have a belief that it can take them to another level. So they're invested in this company as well. So, you know, there's going to be a lot of nice things, and I don't want you to get the perception, boy, Duck Donuts franchising company, look at them throwing everything around. Guess what? It's because of that group up there that we went to that they make this event happen as well. So we do have a busy agenda, as Russ mentioned, over the next day and a half. You'll get out of it what you put into it. It's like life, right? If you want to interact with other franchisees and learn best practices, you're going to leave here feeling re-energized and excited. And if you just mope through it, then that's what you'll get out of it. So hopefully it's a positive experience for you. We're excited about it. We got a great event tonight at this off-site museum. It's going to be a ton of fun. Tomorrow night with the speaker. So strap in for the next day and a half. Hopefully tomorrow morning I don't see a lot of foggy eyes after tonight, but I think we'll be fine. A couple housekeeping things. If you don't know already, bathrooms out to the right in this ballroom in the atrium, and also out to the left. There is a Wi-Fi password, Donuts 17, Duck Donuts meeting, if you're not logged on already. The tickets for the baskets, we'll draw them tomorrow throughout the day, and then we'll do the grand, when are we going to do the trip? At dinner tomorrow night, so you have to be there to win. Just kidding. So, any other housekeeping we missed? Allie, you gave me one other one. No, yeah, so when we do the breakout groups, on the back of your badge, there's probably a 1, 2, or 3. And after Marissa's talk, we're going to go to one of our first breakouts, and we'll kind of just explain logistically where to head. I think it might make sense now we do a 10-minute break, get re-energized. Marissa's got a quick question.